Hi everyone, in this video we will be looking at literature review. First of all, what is literature review? Once you have a research idea, before you do anything, you may want to know what have been done in the topic, so you don't need to repeat what others have done. At the same time, you may also want to find out what is missing in the literature, that is, what is not yet done. Usually, we refer it as the research gap. If you read any introductory research textbook, a literature review is often defined as the step to provide a basis for consolidating scholarly research findings. In other words, academic papers within a specific area or topic into a document that gives a clear indication of, first, current knowledge or what have been done, and second, their limitations, meaning anything insufficient or inappropriate, and then the third, future direction of the research area, or in other words, is there a better way to look at or to solve the problem? Then, what is the general step in conducting literature review? The first step is to find the relevant information, which we usually call literature search. That is, to search the literature through some scholarly database. We will use PubMed to do a demonstration in the later part of this video. After we find the relevant papers from the database, we should summarize or synthesize their findings. Based on these findings, we can try to identify the research gaps. In other words, what is lacking in the literature. Finally, we can refine our research idea to form a potential research question. For literature search, we need to use some scholarly database, and I list a few commonly used databases below. PubMed is a free search engine accessing mainly the Medline database of reference and abstracts on life science and biomedical topics. I will demonstrate how to use PubMed to do a search shortly. Embase is a biomedical and pharmacological bibliographic database of published literature. It is similar to PubMed but covers more European journals. PsyInfo is a database of abstracts of the literature in the field of psychology. It was developed by the APA, American Psychological Association. Scopus is an abstract and citation database launched in 2004. It is not specific to any field, but target on the citation information for published articles. It covers near over 36,000 journals. Web of Science is similar to Scopus but owned by another company. It also provides comprehensive citation data for many different academic papers. Other platforms that one can use to find academic articles include the ResearchGate and Google Scholar. These two are open access databases. Let me show you how we can search PubMed to search for the literature. PubMed provides different ways for users to perform a search. You can go to PubMed through the link here. Usually, we would perform an advanced search, so you can click the advanced here to go to the advanced search page. For example, if you want to search the research output for a specific person, for example, Professor Richard Peto, then you can go to advanced search and search by author. There are 5 options for the author search, but if you don't want to limit the search to a specific role of the author, you can simply choose author, and then type in the family name of the author, followed by a comma and then the first name, like Peto, Richard. After that, you can click the Add button to add it to the search box. Then you can click the Search button. There are 186 articles here. Please note that your number may not be the same as mine. Similarly, if you want to search a specific journal, you only need to go back to the advanced search page and then change the search to journal, and then type in the journal name like Lancet here. Add, and then click search. So there are around 139,000 articles published in Lancet. Next, if you want to search for a disease, for example, COPD, a common lung disease, and you only want to select those articles with the word COPD in their title and abstract, Then you can perform a title abstract search and then type in COPD and search. So there are total 49,000 articles with COPD in their titles or abstracts. If you don't want to limit the search to title or abstract, then actually you can perform a keyword search. To perform a keyword search, just keep it in all fields and then type in COPD, add, and then click the search. Of course, you would expect there would be much more result because for the keyword search, it would include the title abstract search as well as the word in other parts of the articles. So in this search, we got around 91,000 records. Finally, there is a unique search option in PubMed called medical subject heading or simply mesh search, for which some people in the database would read the articles and then index the article under different medical subject headings. So if you want to search COPD, you can consider to use mesh search to do it. You only need to select one of the mesh search option. It could be major topic, subheading, or terms. So usually I would use the terms because I am not sure whether there is any major topic for COPD or subheading for COPD. But very likely the terms would be available for COPD. So I use mesh term to search for COPD. Add and then do the search. So in the mesh term search, we got around 57,000 articles that would be related to COPD. So if you come back to the advanced search page, you can make a comparison of these three types of search. If you search a title and abstract, you got around 49,000. As keywords, it will give you around 91,000. Search for mesh terms, it will give you around 57,000. Usually, we would believe this one would be more appropriate because it has been verified by the database personnel. Of course, you can use the keyword search, but it will give you much more result, and some of them may not relevant to COPD. So, if you want to search a specific disease or condition, you can use the mesh term to search for the disease or condition. For demonstration purpose, I also use the mesh term search for the physical activity. So I got around 204,000 records for this search. The search for COPD and physical activities are in our search history. Now I will introduce some operational functions in PubMed which can help us to improve our search strategy. First, I would like to introduce two Boolean operators. The first one is OR, which is the union of two searches. The second one is AND, which is the intersection between the two searches. Previously, we conduct title abstract search for COPD as well as the mesh term search for COPD. If we want to see the union of them, we can use the OR operator. In PubMed, you simply click the three dots beside the search number and then click Add Query for the first search and then click the three dots for the second component, so here, and then click Add with OR. Afterwards, you simply need to click the search button. So you can see it will give you around 75,000 records, which is much more than using the title abstract search for COPD alone or using the mesh term search for COPD alone. Now, suppose we want to find the combined result between COPD and physical activities, these two. In PubMed, we can click the search for physical activities, the three dots here, and then select Add Query. And then click the three dots for COPD search, and then click Add with AND. So it will give you the intersection between these two searches. Click the search button. So now you can see the number of records have been reduced to 1,947. Beside the Boolean operators, there are some filters options in PubMed so that you can limit the time of publication, the study design, and the availability of the full text. For example, you can see the graph here. If you click the left circle to 2015, for example, then it would limit all the publication for this search from 2015 to 2021. Also, you can check the box here. For example, you only want the free full text, so you can check this box then only those with 3 full text would be shown in this search. Also, you can select the article type for your search. For example, you only want to have those randomized control trials in your search, so it would help you to limit to those randomized control trials within your original search. Here, we can only demonstrate a few commonly used functions and operators for searching. If you want to know more, you are encouraged to have a look of the PubMed user guide. After completing the search, of course, you need to download the papers to read. But which information or dimension of the paper you need to pay more attention? Here, I list a few more important dimensions for your reference. But please note that it may have some variation depending on your topics. First, the study design of the paper, whether it is randomized control trial, cohort study, case control study, or other types of study design. Second, the setting, that is where the subjects were recruited, for example, whether they were patients from hospitals, students from university, or older adults from elderly homes. Third, the sample size, meaning how many people were involved in the study, and then the characteristics of the sample, like their mean age, gender ratio. Next, how the outcome variables were measured. For example, whether they use self-report method, like questionnaire, or physiological measurement, like blood pressure or heart rate. Also, what is the effect size of the study? Effect size refers to the magnitude of the result, whether the effect or the association is weak, moderate, or strong. Finally, what are the strengths and limitations of the studies? By knowing the strengths, we can adopt such approach in our study. By knowing the limitations, we can avoid or improve in our studies. So these are some basic information or dimension that we need to pay attention. The next question is how we can summarize or synthesize the results. The first thing is to tabulate the result using a standard table. Here is one example of the table. It has a reference column, which will contain the article author name and year of publication. The second column is the quality of the study. We can use some standard tool to evaluate the quality of the study, but it will be discussed in later videos. And then the country of the study, the study design and the population, the information about the intervention, and the component in the intervention, who conduct the intervention, and where to conduct the intervention, also the outcomes for the intervention. Okay, you can use Microsoft Word, Excel, or other software to create your table. But at least remember to cover those dimensions that we discussed in the previous slide. Once the information is well tabulated, you can try to write the review based on the information in the table. How to write the review is out of the scope here, but I will provide 2 references at the end of this video so that you can have better ideas how to write a good literature review. One thing that you need to remember when you write your review, you don't only report what is known. Of course, what is known is important, but the aim of conducting a literature review includes finding the gap in the literature. So it would be useful to find out what is missing and not yet known. Look at this map. You may find from the literature that a large number of studies has been conducted about the topic. For example, physical activities for COPD patients have been shown to be effective to improve their physical function and mental well-being. But what is not yet known? For example, it could be which activities provide the best improvement for the patient. It could be what is the frequency of the activity providing more benefit. So this can be the gaps in the literature, and studies can be conducted to examine them. In other words, a new research idea can be generated. As to the research gaps, usually we can characterize them into the following 4 areas. The first one is a pure knowledge deficit. It refers to no one has looked at the problem before. Second, a shortcoming in the scholarship, which is often due to the philosophical or methodological tendency, or simply oversight. In our previous example, we may know physical activities is useful to improve the health of COPD patients, and it is mainly from the healthcare workers' perspective. But whether the COPD patients feel comfortable in doing those activities, we may not know. Next, it may be a controversial topic. It refers to some studies support the conclusion, but some did not. In other words, the current results are inconclusive, and new study is needed. Finally, it may be a persuasive and unproven assumption. This is something which has been observed for years, but no evidence to prove it. For example, now we know smoking would lead to higher risk of developing lung cancer, but the research started in 1950. In brief, a group of UK doctors observed more lung cancer patients were smokers, so they conduct a case control study and then a long cohort study to examine the effect of smoking to health, and they confirmed the association around 30 years later. Based on one or more characteristics of the gaps mentioned, one would have a stronger rationale to develop a new study or refine the research ideas. Here are references which are useful for writing a literature review. You can go through them for more information. Thank you for your attention. See you in next video.